Time is running out to procreate, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida told a recent press conference, a slogan that seems so far to have fallen short of inspiring the city-dwelling majority of the Japanese public. Amid a flood of disconcerting demographic data, he warned earlier this year the country was on the brink of not being able to maintain social functions. The country saw 800,000 births in 2022, the lowest number on record and barely more than half the 1.5 million births it registered in 1982. Its fertility rate, foreigners accounted for just 2.2% of the population in 2021, according to the Japanese government, compared to 13.6% in the United States. Bearing age hits a critical low from which there is no way to reverse the trend of population decline. All this has left the leaders of the world's third-largest economy facing the unenviable task of trying to fund pensions and healthcare for a ballooning elderly population even as the workforce shrinks. Former President Donald Trump said Saturday he expects to be arrested in connection with the years-long investigation into a hush money scheme involving adult film actress Stormy Daniels and called on his supporters to protest any such move. In a social media post, Trump, referring to himself, said the leading Republican candidate and former President of the United States will be arrested on Tuesday of next week, though he did not say why he expects to be arrested. His team said after Trump's post that it had not received any notifications from prosecutors. John Miller reported Friday that meetings have been going on throughout the week among city, state and federal law enforcement agencies in New York City about security preparations for a possible indictment of Trump. In an echo of Trump's appeals to supporters in the wake of the 2020 presidential election, he called Saturday for action, writing, "Protest, take our nation back." A secret plan drawn up by Russia's security service, the FSB, lays out detailed options to destabilize Moldova, including supporting pro-Russian groups, utilizing the Orthodox Church and threatening to cut off supplies of natural gas. The document appears to have been drawn up to thwart Moldova's tilt to the West, which includes closer relations with NATO and an application to join the European Union. It repeatedly refers to the importance of preventing Moldova from joining NATO. The document sets out a 10-year strategy for bringing Moldova, a former Soviet republic sandwiched between Ukraine and Romania, within Russia's sphere of influence. The plan includes making Moldova dependent on imports of Russian gas and stirring up social conflict, as well as trying to block Moldova's efforts to gain influence in the pro-Russian breakaway region of Transnistria, where some 1,500 Russian soldiers are stationed. North Korea has claimed that about 800,000 of its citizens have volunteered to join or re-enlist in the nation's military to fight against the United States. About 800,000 students and workers, on Friday alone, across the country expressed a desire to enlist or re-enlist in the military to counter the United States, North Korea's state newspaper Rodong Sinmun newspaper reported on Saturday. The claim came after North Korea on Thursday launched its Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, ICBM, in response to ongoing U.S.-South Korea military drills. North Korea fired the ICBM into the sea between the Korean peninsula and Japan on Thursday, hours before South Korea's president flew to Tokyo for a summit that discussed ways to counter the nuclear-armed North. The North's ballistic missiles are banned under United Nations Security Council resolutions, and the launch drew condemnation from governments in Seoul, Washington, and Tokyo. The fate of Credit Suisse could be decided in the next 36 hours after a torrid week for Switzerland's second biggest bank. More than $450 million was pulled from European and U.S. funds managed by the bank between Monday and Wednesday, according to Morningstar. The lifeline from the Swiss Central Bank, announced late Wednesday night after the stock had crashed to a new record low, bought Credit Suisse some time. But by Friday, analysts were speculating that a full-blown rescue would be needed, and reports began to swirl of a possible takeover by its biggest Swiss rival, UBS. Reuters and the Financial Times, citing people familiar with the matter, both reported that Swiss regulators were urging the banks to agree a deal before markets open Monday to shore up confidence in the country's banking system. The FT said the boards of UBS and Credit Suisse were expected to meet separately over the weekend.